It's the most beautiful sunset I've ever laid eyes on, and I can't capture it for you. This one might have to be for the books, for the mental imagery. But we are climbing a little higher. Let me see if we can get a sneak peek. There she is. Look at those rays. We rented an RV spot for the week at Spirit Lake. And on our first trip out, we started to wonder where Spirit Lake was, and we found it. We're hanging out up at the tops of the hills, but made it to the bottom. All right, let's find out about it. Ooh, kind of weirdly warm. Not a big lake, so the sun's definitely baking it. Hi friends, we are packing up here in Spring Lake, Idaho. As you can see, we're sitting out by a big old pole barn and hanging out at a cabin and just literally surrounded completely by quiet, very, very quiet forest. So, I wanted to come live with y'all, or well, live video, live content, just to share a little bit. This time is flying by. Let's talk about time. This is your monthly and quarterly reminder from Abigail that time isn't real. We were driving here. We left Bend. We stayed in Spokane overnight. And now we're in Spring Lake, which is a little over in Idaho. And then we're going to go to Great Falls. I was talking to my mom because we have a trip to Indiana and Wisconsin and hanging out with family and friends. There happens to be like 20 August birthdays in my family. And so we will visit for that time. We had a few like milestones and benchmarks to hit and then plan the rest of the trip in between that and then trying to visit everybody. Our trip to Indiana will be there August 6th through the 16th. And I'm just thinking like, gosh, it's going to be here so fast. And then thinking about who we'll visit out on the East Coast. We're going to go up to New England, all the way down the East Coast to Florida, and then up through Texas and such. Like, this is a full trip. So I have this conversation a lot with my clients is about time, bending time, and how it's not real. And I want to talk about like linear time, like timeline, and then exponential time, the way that time multiplies or bends, because a lot of us don't, like, for example, how do you spend 4 months on the road? First off, we have created lives that work for us that way, where we can coach on the road. We just need Wi-Fi, which sometimes is even a challenge. In fact, there was a video in here already about the little satellite that I was sitting next to. I wrote a post about sitting next to that satellite and in the pitch black out here, feeling so small. But it's such a trip to take time for yourself and bend time for your benefit. We think we can't achieve things like this in our lifetime, and we can. And what we were talking about in our book club tonight was about getting rich or being successful or wealthy, and how we can do that in our lifetime, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time. And I can definitely feel that I'm I'm just flow talking because it just keeps coming back to that time rhyme. But the one gal said, I'm going to be the first millionaire in my family. And another one was saying how a friend was showing her his plans to buy an island and make $7 million in a year. And she was like, I cannot fathom that. And I was like, yes, you can. You've talked about your dreams of opening a school and helping young women be leaders in the world and all of this. And it's like someone's crazy big dream sounds like to us. traveling for 4 months on the road at our leisure sounds like to people. Like, what? How do you do that? Does that really happen? And it's incredibly possible. And I think what was so important, it's been so important in my life, and it's been so important in my clients' lives, that when we see someone 1 degree away from us being successful or being authentic in the way that they relate, it becomes possible for them. And so I've really enjoyed the vlog for that reason, is like sharing our journey, because I'm just little old me. Tim's just little old Tim. Like, we are very normal human beings. We bleed red blood, right? And I think that that's important, because I shared it, I think in the very first vlog, is I spent much of my teens and 20s thinking that life went in a certain order, right? Like relationship, marriage, house, job, kids, like in a certain order. And like, one, that's not true. It's just made up. It's just a societal norm. And that success has to take a long time. And that I thought I had to work very hard for very long to then retire and do things like this, right? I'm 32 right now. I'm at a prime where I get to really enjoy this. And who's to say I wouldn't at age 50 or 60 or whatever? But I'm so grateful. Time is not a factor in success exactly. I do believe in like slow and sustainable success, but slow is relative. Like 5 years worth of building for the success that my business has had is relative compared to making the same rate at a job for 5 years and incrementally saving for retirement to then do these things then. And it's all relative. Reality is relative. We get to make it all up, including time, including income, including relationship. I got to give my best friend a shout out, and I'm totally just rambling. I hope you're enjoying this, but I got to give my best friend a shout out. She changed the game for me in my life when she said, Abigail, like, I was dating and I was getting a little discouraged about finding someone who would like really match what I want and how I am and what I see for my life. And she was like, your marriage and motherhood are not going to be conventional. Like, it's not going to be what we were raised witnessing. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. And it was like permission. She granted me permission for it to not look like everyone else's. And I can imagine, like, we're not living like a lot of people, and however you want to live is totally great and okay. What I like to speak about in transformation is there's no wrong lifestyle, but if you're not living the lifestyle that you dream of, it's not that it's wrong, and that it's probably not very functional, because my guess would be your mental and emotional health might be out of whack because you know you're not living authentically in alignment with what you see for your life. And that's where I get really serious about the conversation about, like, how do you want this to be going? And it does not have to take decades for it to shift. It has to take your decision. It has to take your healing. It has to take your courage and your responsibility and your willingness, but that has nothing to do with time. And so I just want to drop in some words of hope and wisdom that whatever you see, you can have. And particularly what you feel authentically motivated towards is for the highest good of all. I get that it might take courage to break a cycle or break a pattern or break a norm or break an expectation, but that's not hurtful when you're truly following what's authentically for you or what you feel inspired by or passionate about. That's for the highest good of all. And you got to keep that in mind. And if your faith isn't stronger than your fear, that's when it's time to get professional support, therapy, a coach, a consultant, a mentor, a spiritual director, like whatever that looks like. But professional support is what would help us go beyond our comfort zone and our limiting beliefs, particularly because those subconscious fears and limiting beliefs they are strong, they are ingrained, they are imprinted. You got decades worth of practice with those. And so a professional's support is really going to help you accelerate busting down the barriers of your limiting beliefs. So anyways, time's not real. I love you a lot. I love that you're tuning into this vlog. It's just called the Hearts Unleashed Travel Vlog. That's what I have decided. And I've been really enjoying and sharing and everything. And please comment, share, like, do all those social media things. I don't really like doing the pitchy stuff, but I also really enjoy when you help us grow and expand and spread the word, right? Like not Hearts Unleashed or Abigail Gazda, but the word of transformation, the word of hope, the word of time's not real, right? The bending, alchemizing. Maybe I'll go into alchemizing in another conversation, but yeah, just that your life is yours. You can get paid to be you, and it definitely doesn't have to take a long time. So in fact, it took enough time for the sun to get down and go dark. So thanks for hanging out with me. Love you.